Welcome everyone to Politically High Tech with your host Elias. I have a guest here who is gonna look. It's not gonna be a normal marketer, but it will make sense. You know, a good ad has a story, right? And we tend to remember it rather we buy the product or not. We're gonna dive into all of that, how storytelling is very important for marketing and ads, and we're also gonna talk about how to market to Gen Z because they seem to be these weird alien creatures when it comes to marketing. Why are they so hard to market? What is wrong with the youth? All right, let me stop going on the reverse ageism hat right there. I have a guest here who is going to solve that for sure. Emanuel Rose. Okay. He is definitely a marketing expert. He has led companies, does market well, promotes stuff very well, and especially targeting this tricky generation. They thought my generation, the millennial generation, was tricky. This one seems to be tricky when it comes to some marketers, especially those who maintain a more status quo traditional sense. Correct me if I'm wrong there. Feel free to correct me on the spot. I am definitely not an expert in marketing and all that. So I just barely study the trend just like any other consumer. So feel free. I'm not an expert. I'm a learner just like you, listeners or viewers. If you're watching this through YouTube, especially, you're gonna see the background of a bunch of young adults. I'm trying to find the most Gen Z, but it's not the most inclusive one. As a heck, as long as it's not showing minors, that's one big rule I don't mess with. I am not showing any minors at all. This is the appropriate young adult segment of the Gen Z group. Okay. So don't. So I'm not gonna drag this out long enough. So, Emmanuel, introduce yourself. What do you want the listeners or the viewers to know about?
Oh yeah, well, thanks, Elias. I'm really happy to be here and have a conversation with you. And I'm a been in marketing since the early '90s. So I stretch all the way back to when we used to send faxes and letters to do our prospecting. So it's been quite an interesting change over the last 3, 4 decades. And now that we're in the age of AI, it's even more dramatically different. So I live out on the West Coast. I live out in Reno, Nevada, and when I'm not behind a computer, I'm fishing, camping, or bird hunting with my Springer Spaniel.
I hear that. You see, just because someone is very experienced in life, you see, he keeps himself updated with trends. That's how you maintain a young organic computer right in here.
That's right.
I was, oh, I know everything. I stick to, I'm gonna go even further back. I'm gonna stick to typewriter. Good luck with that. I'm sure that was relevant and definitely this is pre my time, of course. He was using the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. I mean, it lasts for a long time. It's relevant. Let me just be that kind to the typewriter. It was relevant for a while, that technology,
It sure was. Yeah.
but things are just changing so quick. What I knew 6 months ago, I gotta drop some of it. I mean, it's just changing that quick. It's just changing that quickly. And he's in Nevada. That's another favorite, one of my favorite non-New York states. I've been there. Actually, had a great time over there. But I'm not gonna talk much because you know about the whole Vegas, right? So
If it happens there, it stays there. That's right.
so that's all I'm gonna say about that. And I'm more interested in doing my manual anyways than regurgitating my past and travels and all that. Which is this is not a traveling podcast. So if you want to request that, that's gonna be has to be the last random episode when I do go when I want to talk about the major changes. So what are the major I'm not gonna say three. I'll leave that up to you how much marketing trends you want to explain here to my listeners. What are the top emerging trends for 2024 that you see?
Well, you can't talk about anything in business without talking about AI right now. So, that's really the biggest one. And we've seen such a massive proliferation of AI tools, generative AI, and the ability for bots to do work that we had been doing up until this point, and for this machine learning. So, I mean, it's an amazing change that's happened. Even I was on a call today with a company called Up Content that is a content aggregator, and they allow you to grab content and push it to your social feeds. And as they show you content that is relevant to what you're asking for, and you post it, then it keeps track of which content your audience engages with the most, and then it learns and feeds you more of that same type of content. And then the pieces that you decide not to post, it keeps track of that too. And so it's learning what you like and what your audience likes in order to serve more of that content. So just a tiny little view of AI that's working to our advantage and to ease things up. So AI number one on the list. The continuing activity of influencers, while maybe not as important as it has been, influencers are important, and especially the CEO of the company or the founder of the company as a primary influencer continues to be an important trend. We want to hear from Elon Musk. We want to hear from Richard Branson. We want to hear from Kylie Jenner, right? We don't want to hear from their marketing people. We want to hear from them specifically. So those are two of the big ones right now. Elias, what do you think?
You know what? I am not gonna argue. And if I'm arguing, it's because my drink is bad. So I'm just gonna drink and not take accountability. Of
All
all
right.
seriousness, though, I actually agree because we want to hear more directly from the face of the company, the CEO, and all that instead of just hearing from the marketing experts or the PR team or what have you. That's all. Yeah, that's nice. We don't want to hear them. We want to hear directly from the horse's mouth. So of course, I'm going to agree with that. That's what we see more of. Of course, you hear Mark Cuban more, and,
Yep,
but I mean, the negative side is you also see the petty fights among these CEOs and social media.
it's true.
That's a bit of a
It-
downside, but it comes with the territory, I have to say, especially to have opposing views. That's when he like the Elon Musk, the Richard Bransons, and well, I'm gonna throw one of them out there who is just Tony Robbins.
Yep,
That's another one I could
for
think of.
sure. Yep.
And maybe even certain mega rich celebrities, like Beyonce. Once again, people just can't get enough of Beyonce or I'm sure there's other better examples. I think Nicki Minaj is another one with an omega huge following. Those are celebrities I'm just gonna throw in there, but I don't see that emerging as much. But to your point, it's definitely the CEOs that are maintaining that made a high level visibility that you can't escape from them. Like the celebrities, you could kind of dodge them these days compared to these CEOs. Whether you like them or not, that's irrelevant. The only way you're gonna dodge it completely is just go back to being a cave person.
Right.
Dramatic
Yeah.
examples, but they work if you're really that dedicated. for, for sure. So, now the other question I have, and I did allude to this earlier. How does one market to this elusive, tricky Gen Z generate? Yeah, the Gen Zs. How you market to those folks?
Yeah, well, that's a good question, and it's an important question because it's about 68 million people in the United States. Right now, they're between the ages of about 10 and 27, 28. So it's the biggest economic force in the United States right now in terms of numbers and in terms of their influence on buying decisions, right? Because it's not just their money, they're spending their parents' and grandparents' money also. And they're tricky because even though the millennials think that they're tech aware, these kids have never known a day without the internet or without a smartphone, right? And so uh, they're hypersensitive uh, to messaging that is salesy or overly not authentic. And so what's amazing is that like we were just talking about, this idea of the social CEO as an influencer, that's really critical. Uh, but the other part that's critical is that the social media marketing and the user generated content is part of the needs to be part of the marketing plan because they actually are going to social media instead of going to search engines for product referrals. So it's kind of like that they want to have somebody else do the work for them and tell them which product they should get so that they don't make a mistake. So that is extremely tricky for older brands, older companies, older marketing campaigns because you've got to seed your social media with user generated content and with reviews so that you can tap them that way.
Oh yeah, that certainly is tricky. It actually makes a lot of sense because they don't know. It's very true. That's the difference. I tell them is, listen, I remember the last days of pre social media. Okay, and the .com bubble. That's when I'll call that the infancy of what was equivalent to social media. Oh, if I'm aging myself here, pitiful, pitiful ageism alert. AOL, dial up. Uh,
Yeah,
I'm at the beginning of aging here. Oof,
that's
oof.
funny.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of them were just either babies. They didn't have enough conscious those going. You had to feed them and make guide them to walk or whatever, what have you. And of course, cell phones were well, yeah, cell phones were around that time for sure. But yeah, they can't imagine a day without a smartphone and internet. The vast majority of them can, unless they're Amish or cavemen. Those
Right,
ones that
yeah,
you could throw in there. They're the
yeah,
only ones that I think they'll be shocked once they see technology. Those interesting sub no, I don't want to say that's rude. Interesting portion of the population that are technophobe by nature. But that's not the normal Gen Z. They are technophile, capitalize that word. All right.
yeah. Even the ones that maybe don't spend a lot of time on social media, they're still using. They're going to use the phone for texting. They're going to use some form of DMing through one of the platforms, and then it's likely that they're on. Besides Snapchat, they're going to be on TikTok and maybe Instagram. Um,
Oh yeah, and I think what separates my generation of millennial ones that we enjoy more longer form content. We still hooked with YouTube. Not to say Gen Z is not hooked on YouTube. There's a great portion of them as well, but their main thing is TikTok, to anything that's short, visual, and and the audience knows my opinion. Not a big fan of TikTok, but I'm not gonna regurgitate that. They know that already.
right.
Go to old episodes when I bash it. I'm not going to repeat that here. We're here to learn. We're here to learn. Let's wear the serious hat, listeners. Okay, we're here to learn. We're not. I'm not going to just bash. I already did that at least like 5 times already, which I enjoy for the most some extent. Even though I might sell out in the future. Yep. Don't be surprised I change my mind. You've been warned again. This is the final warning. So, yeah, TikTok, very addictive. I checked it out once, and it's ironic. One of my older family members got addicted to TikTok, which I never thought it would happen, but it did. I'll say, oh, I can see why this thing is so addictive. These 15-second, 30-second, 1 minute videos. You go through the next one, through the next one, through the next one, through the next one. Before you know it, an hour has already passed, and it only feels like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Just getting
algorithm.
that dopamine is just flowing, and it's like playing the slot machines. You just get excited to see what's happening next and what the story is about.
Yeah, I'm sure the dopamine receptors of most people these days are overwhelmed, fried. That's why it's so hard for these dopamine receptors work. They've been overworked so much. It's similar to a drug. I hate to say it, similar to a drug, very similar, very similar. And studies have shown that a social media addict and someone who's addicted to substance, the brain structure is very similar. So it's
Indeed.
yeah, feel free to correct me. My ego's not that big. I'm happy that's been beaten multiple times. If my ego was a person, I would have killed it. But it's not. And I have to learn just how to manage it. It doesn't matter if you're spiritual or not spiritual. You gotta still deal with that ego. I'm not gonna put myself in the pedestals because I'm a spiritual person. You still gotta deal with that ego and these flaws that you have. As long as you're human in this suit, you're gonna have these flaws. Okay. So I'm not gonna make this too spiritual, but just I'm not. I don't want to hear, oh, liars actor, oh, high mighty on the high horse. You say that you're not paying attention, you're just trolling. I'm not gonna take that comment very, very seriously because I have already admitted multiple times. I'm flawed just like you. I'm just thinking spirituality is the right way to go. Rather you pick it or not, entirely up to you. And forcing people into any religion is just as bad as kicking them out of religion. So force should be never be done. Just go through, every journey. Everyone has a unique journey. Everyone. It doesn't matter how dull it seems or how exciting it is. Everyone has a unique journey. Okay. I'm sure Emmanuel's journey is very different from mine. I mean, I'm not into marketing, and I definitely live. I spent a few times in the West Coast. He knows about the West Coast way more than I do. I have a great amount of exposure to the East Coast because that's I was born and raised at. So just putting that simple level, it's very different. We go different, we experience different things, and we can experience the same thing differently, come up with different interpretations because how our brain works and DNA and all that good stuff. Okay, I'm drifting away. Let's get it together. It's like I have a TikTok brain, just jump from one thing to another to another to another. All right, so let me ask this very good question, and I think we alluded to some pre-recording. You could correct me there. What role does storytelling plays in crafting a compelling marketing campaign?
The story is the part that draws in the human into that little vignette, right? And it triggers emotion, and it follows a traditional arc of the kind of the hero's journey of here's the situation, here's somebody in a good spot, here's where they get into another spot where it looks like they're never going to get out, and then there's some kind of a denouement or a way that it all comes together that's either positive or negative. And we're humans. We live in narratives. We live in language, and it's why children love fairy tales and mythology because it triggers something very deep in us as humans. And so we truncate that hero's journey into an idea of called like problem, solution, call to action. And that's the 60-second arc of the hero's journey that advertisers are using in order to get somebody's attention and say, oh yeah, I do have that problem. And oh, what have I tried to do about it before? And what am I going to do about it now? And then this call to action, right, is either try it or buy this small sample of it and test it for yourself, or buy it with a money back guarantee, and that solves that problem, which is where the story began.
Yep. As much as I don't like to admit it, I thought I was logical and better than that, but no, even I enjoy a good narrative in the story, folks. Yeah, but that's what separates forgettable, dull, or just a phony, scammy commercial versus forget commercial. I'm using a word ad to a very compelling ad that draws you in. You become part of the story because you're so emotionally involved and invested into it. Rather, you're happy about it, you're crying about it, or you're angry about it even because you're frustrated with I don't know being overweight or you have hair in places that other people perceive as weird or whatever issue it is.
Yeah.
Or you don't want to clean, So I'm too busy. I want a good cleaning. I want an AI robot thing that just cleans the floor for me. I don't got time to clean it. You know, something. Those are the ads that I tend to remember, whether I buy the product or not. Yeah, I'm exposing myself right there because I say, yeah, it's great, but I don't need that product. But especially if it needs and relates to you, well,
Right.
that's when you're gonna get it. That's what that
Yep.
whole cash flow is coming in. That's
Well,
why
and
I'm
you think
surprised.
about which ones are memorable, right? In like the Geico and that little lizard, like even if you don't use Geico, you have an emotional attachment to that little guy one way or another. You either hate him or you love him, but both of those emotional responses are fine from the marketing perspective because you're interacting with it and it's got some space in your brain.
Oh yeah, I call it living rent free in your head. Yeah.
Right.
That's of course that's the goal of the ad. I mean, they had more than one character. I'm just gonna go real quick with the whole guy. I mean, that's such a iconic. That word's been over abused, but I'm going to use it this example because especially the lizard is most iconic of all of them. I remember the
Hmm.
pig. I remember the cave people that were sarcastic. Those
Right.
actually the cave guys were my personal favorite.
Yeah.
What happened to us? I don't care about the lizard or the pig was it. The pig was interesting, but the cave people was the one I actually laughed was all. I really got a real kick out of the I think Geico should have invested in comedy or something. Maybe they could have drastically increased their revenue. I mean they were good. They were good. They should gain a quote unquote comedic license.
Right.
I mean, they were good stuff without being too edgy or vulgar, too. So kudos to them on that one. Besides just being an auto insurance company.
Yeah, which is one of the most boring things that you can sell and that you have to buy, right? It's just a commodity. But they made it some personality. And as small business people, that's what our job is, our kind of a secret power is that we have good stories. The reason that we're entrepreneurs is because we had a motivation to help people in a certain way. And we want to take care, if we have employees, we want to take care of them as much as we take care of our customers. And we're involved in things in the community, in our local community, in our national community. And those are the important stories as small business people for us to tell because it creates the emotional connection with our prospects and customers. And it's something that the corporations can't ever really compete with us on.
Yeah, well, if anything, if they're smart, they need to give you shelf out, I don't know, digital cash or physical cash, whatever. This will help you with that, right? Because even the big businesses can't do everything. Rather, yeah, they got a lot, yeah, they have a lot more capital, they have a lot more people, but they still can't do everything. I mean, I think the only one I could almost think that could do almost everything is probably Amazon. And I'm saying that with a question mark because I won't be surprised if I'm going out of a limb there with their deliveries, all the products. They start off as a bookstore, and then of course they blossom to this ginormous chains of warehouses
Right.
that sells almost everything. So, which that makes them, yeah,
But
very
but
much.
they're not involved in the community the way a small bookstore is involved in the community. And so that to me, that's what I'm saying is the way that we can compete against the ginormity of it.
Oh, that's actually a very good point. Sometimes I forget that, and I am like a pro small business person because I always prioritize a small business over the big businesses to get something because to me they're the backbone of the burger economy. Yeah, I'm not anti big business,
Right.
but I'm trying to help the small business stay afloat. I mean, especially in New York City, a lot of them has been. Well, big business took a hit too. They weren't immune either. Like some of the J.C. Penney's, Macy's, and all. I mean, big stores took a hit, but small businesses only got one or two stores. Once they shut, they're just gone.
Right.
This is just
Yep.
probably wiped out. While big businesses, most of them are just shrinking, or they call it correcting.
Right.
Try to, that's the buzzword. We gotta pay attention to these buzzwords. Correcting. Say this is our true size. Those extra 20,000 people, man. Yeah, they were a mistake, which is so it's so
Right.
wrong. But I don't want to get to the whole ethical issue of all that. But that's what they do, and of course, it's a trend. A lot of these big tech companies have been just cutting. Are their jobs growing? Yeah, but don't expect mainstream media to report that. Anything like healthcare. Oh, that industry is going way up and from the lowest level even to the high levels. They need people. They need people a lot of levels. But all right, that's me going a little bit off the topic, but not everything is all doom and gloom. But yeah, the techs have been taking a hit, and I think some of the financial sector as well. Yeah, I mean AI, rather you like it or not, is a major disrupt. I mean, it's like with any innovation in history.
Sure. Yeah.
Jobs
And so,
gone and new ones come. Go
yeah, and the AI is interesting in that it still takes humans to manage it, right? It's not gonna work perfectly on its own, and so it's one of those innovations that's important to just to keep in touch with every week and try and see how you can integrate it into the workflows that you have, and to find some tools that can help you either with something that you're not very good at, or it can help you lever into something that you're really good at.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure my listeners are tired of me using how I'm a bad artist example. Let me use a slightly different example. Music, I could actually compete with someone who's been doing music for years because of AI, especially if I become savvy with using AI, and of course get some. I mean, this is more of a plus, of course, so general music knowledge about what creates a catchy beat, and then boom, I just apply that. And I create something that I could compete with. So other people's been doing it for decades. And it's I'll say to most extent it's an equalizer. Or I could compete with an artist. I could compete with even video editors who could
Right.
create all these nice. I mean, Sora has this great text to video function that it's just amazing. I saw it myself as a wow. I mean, AI is just gonna evolve. It just gets better. I mean, it learns at an unprecedented exponential rate. Especially that Chat GPT, forgets like the biggest open AI source that we have. Unless yeah, Gemini, yeah, they came, but they had to take it down because
They were a little twisted in their interpretation of reality.
yeah, let's just put it like that. Yeah. Especially when it comes to historical accuracy with
Exactly. Let's not rewrite history, please.
yeah, yeah. Look, I'm all for the inclusion in different cultures, so I am not against that.
Sure.
But if you're gonna try to rewrite history, that's where I easily draw the line. I talked about that with one of my other guests, pretty smart lawyer who was in a memorable Super Bowl commercial. So yeah.
Hmm.
We was just talking about that. Yeah, no, we no. I'm not against diversity and all of that. I said, yeah, no, racism, closed mindedness is just dumb, barbaric, and outdated. But if you're gonna make, I don't know, Abraham Lincoln look like he's from Nigeria, for example, or even Cleopatra look like she came from Japan on the boat or something,
Right.
that's a problem. That's a problem. Okay.
It's just incoherent with reality, right? And that doesn't help anybody.
Yeah. So I get what you're trying to do. Good intent, but poor execution.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say about that. Without being too political. Yeah, that should be easy enough. But I'm sure someone's gonna get offended. Oh, why can Claire? I mean, Cleopatra, in your mind, you can make her whatever race you want. You do your own, I don't know, alternate dimension when Cleopatra and Abraham Lincoln look like that. Okay, do a multi-dimensional movie or something like a comedy or fiction or something, and that's fine. I don't care, but don't sell it as history. Then I get really upset, and that's why I don't criticize Hamilton because even the creator even said, "No, I changed some things up to make it entertaining. I'm not trying to be historically accurate." Lin-Manuel
Right. Yeah. That's
uh,
fine.
owned up
Yeah.
to that, and that's perfectly fine.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm not against that. But if you're gonna sell it, package it as history, all right, then
Right.
yeah, then I don't mind being confrontation. All right. I would not mind being very confrontational, even being snobbish about it as a hey, don't pull a fast one. This New Yorker has been through people ads, selling you a war bottle out there. You do all kinds of people digital ads, scary ads, whatever ads. I think that's why we so hardened on some things and we don't trust that. That's more of a, I'm sure that's an urban experience, especially in New York. Yeah, there's all kinds of ads in there. And what I mean by scary ad, if you haven't figured that out, I'm talking about just a crazy person just jumping out of nowhere, being super pushy and being very close to your personal space and all that. Yeah, it's like a physical human pop up. Yeah, just nah, no. That's the New York experience. All right. Uh, let's see. I think whoa, we already talked about AI. I just want to hear a little bit of your thoughts on AI about if you want to elaborate further.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I think it's amazing tool, especially in the marketing realm, right? I mean, every day there's more and more tools that are coming out for images, for video, like you were talking about, for copywriting, for email marketing, for synthetic voices, right? So now you've got a cold calling software that's all AI that will make the phone calls for you and schedule appointments, customer service in the very near future for any 800 number that you call will ring into an AI that's basically a chat bot that sounds like any person, any accent, any gender that you want it to. It's programmed for that. And so, there's efficiencies that will happen from that, and that will free up people from having to answer the phone to being able to learn how to do the marketing or learn how to, make eyeglasses or learn how to shoot video. So it's exciting in that way. Can it be misused? Yeah, of course. Like any tool, there's always people who are gonna use and abuse it, and we've got to find ways to watermark images so we know where they come from, so we can identify the fakes. Still have laws against robocalling and those sorts of things, but by and large, right now in the marketing world, it's made parts of our business easier and simpler to have the AI generate content calendars, to have the AI generate initial drafts. But again, it still takes humans to drive it. So I don't know when we'll be replaced by AI. I don't know if we will be, but the humans still have to do the work.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, don't let AI be the brain for you because the results are gonna come out very, very well. That's the thing I've said. I say collaborate, learn AI so you could be harder to, be replaced. If you're not gonna learn AI, of course, you'll be replaceable. I'm just gonna be very blunt about it. I am not gonna beat around the bush. If you're a technophobe, trying to collaborate with someone who could show you the ropes, who is patient, or might teach you how to use AI. What I mean by AI is a lot of tools that use it. I mean, there's so much AI products out there. It's impossible to keep track. And I think a
Really
lot of them is
is.
gonna fade out because the kings and queens are just gonna dominate eventually, and then they're just gonna go bye bye. I mean, Canva's been on the block for a while. That's more of a artsy branding kind of application that uses, I'm sure, AI for designs or things like that.
Yeah.
I haven't used it a whole lot, but if I'm gonna have to brush up my artsy game, which I'm bad at, definitely something like Canva could be helpful. Look, the AI is gonna help you where you have your shortcomings, especially if you know how to use it. That's why AI learning is very, very important. It's very important, very, very important. People who are afraid of it, I hope you overcome that fear because that's how you're gonna be replaced. You don't want to be replaced, right? So I'm not a career counselor. I'm not even a career consultant, but I know, the ABCs of this stuff, and you should at least take me seriously here. If you want to hear me throw political insults and all that, fine, you can laugh and enjoy. But this is a random, and it turns out to be another tech business kind of episode. It's random, and that's gonna die starting, yeah, next 2 months because the next episode's gonna come in June, and that's gonna be just gonna turn to an empowerment segment. Yep. I'm gonna do that because now I know what I want to do with the third one. I want to focus on three things, and that's, yes, you can say that's a Christian reference, a Father, Son, Holy Spirit. You'll be smart to make that connection. and I won't deny it. But this is not a spirituality kind of episode, so I want to change that up because I think I see where I want to go with that, and the spiritual people has enlightened me where I want to go. Thank you, spiritual people, and that means Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, and all of that. Yeah, this is rude. I'm saying that right in front of the guests. Let's jump into. Actually, no. Before I do that, the AI, it's a great tool, but just like what Manuel and tells you point out, it could be used for ill purposes. There's already examples of that, but it's to be expected. Deep fakes, so yeah, Ray said the whole robocall, political ads, and they had to take them down because they were too deceptive, and it was targeting at Biden. I'm not a Biden or a Trump fan, but I'm happy they took that down because that would definitely get out of hand. I don't care what political party you're in, that would get out of hand. You could have an AI generate video of Donald Trump saying the N word. You know what kind of outrage that would generate? Oh,
Indeed.
that's going
Yep.
to be the news of the month. All right, but
Yeah.
yeah, just picture that. I'm not gonna say the word, but that's the only reaction you're gonna get. We all know what that is. Or saying you know, rather you like him or not, that's irrelevant. But there were deep fakes of him saying that, or Joe Biden wearing the KKK outfit and make it look real. Ooh, 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 yeah. That's way below the belt. That's even low in American politics. That's super low. That's oof. Yeah. So I think the EU, to their credit, they're trying to regulate AI as proactively as possible. America, well, I hope we need to catch up on that one because we're so enterprise and corporate friendly that we don't want to obstruct it from making too much profits. Well, care about safety of others. You gotta step up your game. You know what I mean? Congress. Well, I'm happy the states are stepping up to some extent, but Congress, you gotta step it up and local governments as well. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's my little 2 cents on AI. Great tool. I would never discourage you to go against AI unless I want you to get fired or become a cave or Amish person. I'm going to keep repeating that because those are the great examples of being so anti-technology that it's insane. There are certain people that are really that technophobic. Yep, let's add another phobic in there. Technophobic. So, all right, this is a more of an operational kind of question regarding companies. How can they balance automation and personalization when it comes to their marketing strategies?
Yeah, I think it's important that when you're building out campaigns that number one, typically we will build out this ideal client profile or who the in general the person is that we're talking to. But we got to continue to remind ourselves that we're talking to human beings and that we're asking them to spend time interacting with our marketing, and that we really have to bring value and help them solve this challenge that they have in their life, and to remember that we send out the marketing that you would like to receive, right? The golden rule of marketing.
Well, I didn't know the golden rule until now, but hey, I'm a marketing dud. I just barely learning how to promote the podcast, so I consider myself a novice on that. But I'm slowly getting better, slowly. People's giving me feedback about how to promote it better, and I'm just gonna take it. I'm not gonna argue.
That's great. Yeah, and that's a great example of remembering the humans that you're interacting with, right? You give feedback, you integrate that into your product, which is the podcast, and you're innovating, and then it becomes stickier for that user group. So that's the exact example of remembering the human.
Oh no, oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm open to feedback and all that because I definitely want this to grow. I don't care about my ego. The ego could get killed 1,000 times. That's not very important. What's important is I want to help, impact, and have this podcast grow. Not the ego grow, because when the ego grows, I'm gonna have to let this podcast go. It's one or the other. It's not both. It's not both. Yes, it's very binary. Podcast or ego, which one's more important? I'm picking podcast. For those who got ego issues, you could go get help if you're ready to admit that, and if not, then you're gonna sabotage your life eventually. You've been warned. That's what I'm gonna say about that because listen, I deal with a lot of egomaniacs, and the reason why I am not so stressed out is because they're ruining themselves. Oh, I could do this. AI is gonna do everything for me. It's gonna think for me and all that. Oh, good luck with that. You still gotta know. You gotta still know your intentions, your goal using the AI. You gotta know the right prompts. You gotta learn because if you explain something, if you try to sound too sophisticated or send vague prompts or poor prompts, so you're gonna get a horrible result. So you gotta make sure you have a clear goal in mind when it comes to AI. It's like in a sense talking to a person. Make sure you have a clear goal in mind. If you can articulate, communicate it well. If you're gonna come up with something too vague or too sophisticated, not that people, some people could grasp it, but that's a risk. If you can make your content digestible, make it easier for people to pick up and grasp, you're doing something right. If you can make complicated simple, you're really smart.
Yeah.
Well, if you make simple and complicated, you need help. You need help. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna be nice about it. Yeah, if you turn 1 plus 1 into advanced calculus, not good. Not good. You're just making your difficult path even more harder than what it needs to be. Life is already hard as is. Just be mindful of that. And my main point is, yep, communication. And that's something I had to pick on. I thought I was a good communicator. So people told me, no, but you're using jargon that's throwing people off. You're saying this. And I thought, well, everyone are smart adults, right? Or unless I'm talking to a bunch of dummies, I push back a bit, of course. That didn't go well. I said, no, but people don't have time. I said, am I dealing with kids? I'm dealing with adults. Yeah, but eventually I just kind of say, you know what? I'm making it harder what it is. I want to end the fight before it gets too heated to the point that causes major damage. And I had to say, you know what? I'll just talk to everyone as if they're in a fourth grade level, but maintain some level of diplomacy.
There you go. Just
So
like USA Today. It's written for the sixth grade level.
nah. I mean, I'm trying to aim a little higher in that simple communication, fourth grade. Okay, before I used to write like on the average, like I was on 10th or 11th grade, and that threw even a lot of adults off. And I was just puzzled by that because I thought they wouldn't know, they wouldn't get it. But no, you understand? Not every adult had the opportunity to get that education. So I said empathy. Trust me, I had a hard time. I'm being transparent. I had a hard time implementing that, but eventually it just finally cracked down in the stubborn head because the eagle's pretty strong. And it had to be cracked. It had to be
Yep.
cracked. And I'm sure Emmanuel understands what I'm talking about. Because you want to throw in scientific words into ads, you think most people gonna get it? No. You want to talk about quantum physics? I don't think that's marketable. I'm not a genius, but I'm pretty sure that's not marketable. And just use all scientific jargon. Yeah, a lot of people are just gonna scroll it. We can scroll it to the left, right, whatever the app is, and just move on real
Yep.
quick.
There's
We
lots of
got like,
choices out there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Attention span of human being continues to diminish. I think it's no better than a goldfish at this point.
2.6 seconds. You're right.
And I was trying to be dramatic. Oh, that's scary.
And actually, the goldfish's attention span is longer now than the human.
Oh, doomsday alert.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yep.
TikTok brain is a real thing.
Oh. I was just trying to be dramatic. I was on what I'm going to use a Gen Z slang. I was on copium, just hoping things were better. Copium, yes, copium.
All
You know what
right, I
that
like it.
is? I'm sure man can know what that is. Lying to yourself, trying to cope and not deal with reality, at least to numb or mitigate the pain, at least of reality.
Nice,
But
nice definition. Yeah, that's one of the things when we're marketing to Gen Z, we try not to use their slang because it is offensive to them.
Oh, I think I see why I have not gained much Gen Z audience. That kind of explains it because I've used their slang and they
Yeah.
probably say, "Oh, this neo
What's this
boomer."
old guy doing?
Yeah, that's our thing. That's a stick to adult thing or something.
Exactly. Yeah. You keep adulting. That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh goodness. Oh goodness. Yeah. Yeah. I think yeah, that's good advice. That's good advice. If I want to just agitate them, I'm just gonna throw in a bunch of slangs. Okay.
There you go. Agitate them.
To be
That's
a
right.
troll. Yeah, be a troll.
And
Oh
then
god.
they're going to need a safe space, and you've created a new problem.
Yeah, don't come to me for marketing for Gen Z. I can probably market for other generations. I could grasp that, but Gen Z's they're a different creature altogether when it comes to no, not creature. They're a different animal. Let's just say that the animal's a little nicer. You happy now? All right, yeah. All right, let me stop being mildly offensive. Throwing simp and all those other words. Hey, that's another one. You know what that is, right? I already gave that definition a few times already. I'm not gonna regurgitate it. And I forgot what episode I said it. So if you bumped into it, congrats. If not, don't worry about it. You're not missing much. And that's not the important thing. Stop being distracted with slangs. You're the problem on that one. So attention is a currency, right? That's what we hear a lot.
For sure. Yeah.
And it's very hard to get it. And it's sadly, my reality's been confirmed that a goldfish had a better attention span than the average, which is
Yeah.
really scary. I am trying to keep this light, but it's very, very hard. All righty then. I think I'm gonna, yeah, probably gonna end it on a somewhat on a cringe, afraid note. Yeah, I would apologize, but I'm just not going to at this point. I'm just gonna just double down on it. So, but don't worry, you pay attention to Emmanuel. He's the happier, wiser one here. Okay, you can just there you go. That's why he's here. Okay, he's your safe space avatar.
That's right.
While I'm the E villain. Okay. All right. And I forgot him. Actually, I kind of left him out. He's an author. If I say if you've written 3 books, you're an author. Um,
Yeah. I
and
wrote those 3 books on marketing. You betcha.
yep. And as we was talking about a little bit of all of them, and what's the title? Oh, authenticity marketing to Generation Z. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna need to read that 10 times to finally grasp that. And then the social media edge, another one that I'm gonna have to read 10 times. The only one I have grasp on is authentic marketing in the age of AI. Maybe that one I could probably read twice and get a better understanding. Like, yep, he's an author. He knows about marketing, and especially this tricky and elusive generation when it comes to marketing. Something that even some millennials like myself are just confused. So why are these youngins so difficult? Now he came from a different time. It's like he said, they were born into a developed internet age. That's past a .com bubble. What I mean by that is the early days of social media all the way to what, 2012. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's what's
Yeah. Right in there. Yep.
so, they came from that, and especially this other generations coming up, the Alpha, I think they're called.
Yep.
I think they're gonna be hologram natives. They're ready to be the AI natives. So that's what I'm gonna call them, the AI slash.
I like that. The AI natives. That's a good one. I might have to credit you with that one, Elias.
Oh, look at that. I was trying so hard to be useful here. Not even try here. Don't try too hard. Just be natural
Just
and
be authentic and it'll
uh,
happen.
uh, I'm gonna use my millennial allergic reaction to that or not. No, I'm kidding. No, we millennials like our authenticity. I hope if they're against it, then I disown them. Right. Let me do the call to action. I have a little too much fun here. All right, go to his site. Okay, go to his site, and this is where you can find his books. And he of course, is more than author. He's a marketing extraordinaire, especially with this generation, which they are already shaping the culture. So he wants to, of course, get their attention because hey, they're the future. They shaping the culture, whether you like it or not. That's the reality of it. You go to EmanuelRose.com. I'm going to spell that for you. That's EMANUELROSE. Okay. And that's .com, .com. Okay. You I already say he's an author. He does speaking engagements as well. He got a mastermind. I'm sure, of course, he's a marketing person. He's got to have products, right? Oh, okay. Look at that. We got playing cards, metal lunchbox. That's definitely not for me. That one, but I like the playing cards part. And what is it's a stainless steel water bottle, reusable. Hey, I don't like them plastic stuff, so that's good. Yeah, that's definitely on a sustainable reusable material. That's good. And yeah, you want a metal lunchbox? Come on, you don't want that SpongeBob or Pokemon design. You could brand yourself as a conservationist, I guess, because the design's called like Naha Henry, if I'm pronouncing that right. It's a nice bird, standing, relaxing. And of course, there's so much other stuff. Oh, it's seed packs and look at that. I'm talking about look, there's a puzzle to it, stickers, and oh, look at that. And I was already figuring that out while just going through it. Yep. Like if you want to contribute to the environment in a stylish way, you know where to go. Okay. You know where to go. He is a keynote speaker. Of course, I am not surprised. It was very easy to talk to him. I mean, why? Yeah, you can schedule an appointment with him, use his expertise, pick his brain out.
That's right. I love to answer questions and help people with marketing.
Yep. And what is this? Yep. And he has a mastermind program. Okay, this is for you. These are for you that are very, very serious about this. And based on my understanding how mastermind works, it's small, very intimate. Learn some fascinating stuff that's definitely going to impact your life one way or another. Instead of just a regular classroom, yeah, you learn some stuff. But the professor or the teacher don't notice you because you have hundreds of other students or even thousands, especially in a virtual setting. Not noticeable. May learn a few things or two. Might not be life changing. Mastermind's different. You're gonna learn something. So all right. So I'm gonna stop right there. Let's see if is there anything I want to add before I let you go?
Elias, I really enjoyed talking to you and I had a good time. So thank you for making some time for me to talk with you.
Oh, no, no problem. I'll thank you. All right. If you have enjoyed this interview with some laughter, some wisdom, give this a like, share, subscribe for YouTube, follows for Rumble. Okay. Share this with someone who think could benefit for this. Okay. And if you're listening to this to Apple Podcasts, give a star review. Hopefully it's a 5. If not, I totally get it. Please write a paragraph why I'm not getting a 5-star review. I would like to improve. Okay. And if you give me a 5-star review, then the typing part of the review is completely optional. And for Spotify, just give a star review. Hopefully it's a 5. If not, then I totally understand. So from wherever you're listening to this podcast, you have a blessed day, afternoon, or night.